Well, I believe we survived the storms. I'm going to show you guys the clip from yesterday that I did on a garden update the day before the storm. I'm out in the garden, and you and I are going to walk around together and see if the storm did any damage. Just by kind of just looking, I really don't see any damage. Actually, I see growth. So I'm going to start the video with yesterday's tour, and then we're going to come back. We're going to look at today, this morning's tour. So as I look, you guys are going to look, and then we'll talk about it. Well, guys, we are getting ready for the first of our fall storms. Here in Louisiana, we usually have a second round of tornadic weather in the fall. So we've moved our aloe veras in because we're going to get a little drop in temperature in the 40s. And in Louisiana, that'll shock them. So we've brought those into the greenhouse, and we are ready. So if it hails, they won't be damaged. And here's some sweet mint. I took some cuttings, scattered it around. I'm going to cover it with some pine straw probably in the next 2 weeks. And I think this is going to be a new mint bed. Plus, you can't go wrong with an old wheelbarrow. But it's doing good. Purple top turnips are coming up and doing really good. And look here, y'all. Check this out. Isn't that a beautiful eggplant? I put 3 in this bed just to see. These were actually started in the shade. I started seeing blooms, transplanted them, and they're doing wonderful. Lemon balm's doing good. It gets larger and larger. What I'm trying to do is have it take over this controlled bed. Because if you don't contain it, it makes some really wild ground cover. But it's doing really, really good. The carrots are actually coming up. All the way. Now this right here, that is not a carrot. That is a purple winter reddish. When I glanced, it was in my carrot package. So instead of reading, I planted it. It was after the fact that I realized it was not a purple carrot. It was actually a reddish. And here's the buttercup squash doing fantastic. Then we've got the red cabbage growing with just your regular green cabbage. And then here is the actual, I don't know if you can see, all the way down through the center is our onions. They're doing great. And what I did is I just run them down the center of the bed, all the way down. And here's some starter seed cabbage, because I wanted to fill in the bed, but from 2 weeks ago, y'all can look back and see they're doing great. There's the other side of the cabbage. Then we got us some greens growing. Y'all know this is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite. But I want to show you something. I didn't want to disturb the bed and dig this up because I saw new growth. Now there's 4 of these through here. This is jalapeno. And I want you to see the new growth. So I'm going to experiment. I'm going to actually pack pine straw around the base. I may even put a bucket over the top if I know I'm going to get a frost. And I'm going to see if this will regrow itself next year. And this is what I call my rabbit bed. My rabbit bed. Now it looks like I am going to have to cover it, because we came out here this morning and had about 12 doves in it. Well, the doves cannot eat my food. This is my food. And I tried to tell them, but they wouldn't listen. They just kept coming back. So, it looks like we are going to have to cover it. But it's doing really, really well. Really well. Broccoli is doing fantastic. Fantastic. Then we start the cauliflower. Now those were planted by seed directly in the grow bags. And I didn't think they were going to germinate well. They were old seeds. But I can see they're germinating fine. So I'm going to let them go another 2 weeks. And then I'm going to choose the strongest of them. I think there's 4 in this one right here. And I can already tell which one I'm going to keep. More cauliflower. And then, of course, my onions. And they are doing fantastic. And they're throughout the straw. But I don't think that the camera's doing justice. Let's see. Should be one right in here. Let me see where it's at. It's right there. There it is. Doing great. This is a new onion that I've never tried before. It's called a Texas Sweet. I believe it's 320. Don't quote me. I don't have my bag out here or my list. But so far, it's shot up first from all of them. And more onions. I usually can get 4 per pot. And then I've got 4 more over here. Oop, there went my lantana. Oh yeah, I'm going to take you back to that. I want to show you something. Lantanas love sun. Not this one. Look at the growth in there. This lantana has been growing in the shade. So the cuttings that I get off of it, they will go in the shade as well. It has done amazing. And then why I'm bragging. This was a experiment with my grandson in school. It was a little bean plant, okay? There's little beans right there. And he brought it home. It was almost half dead. He said, well, we need to plant it. So I took this bucket, cut the bottom out, stuck it in the ground, and he has beans on it. I'm just curious to see what it's going to do next year. But there's his little bean plant. The greenhouse stood the storm. So after last spring, and we pretty much lost every start we had, and this was turned upside down, Buddy was able to basically rebuild it and secure it. But as you saw in the first clip yesterday, what it looked like prior to the storm, I don't see any different. A little cloudy, but over here I wanted to show y'all. Some of you may know, some may not, but this is an aloe vera tree. We have some pups down here. And here's the other one. Now, they're a lot different in look than what most of you know as traditional aloe vera. But with temps dipping down into the 40s, we had to bring them in. We have some pups here too. So I think we are now ready for Louisiana winter. Now that doesn't mean that we're going to have a fire every night. I mean, may have to run the air condition, but we are pretty much ready for the winter. I would say the carrot bed did fine with the storm. I think that's because we already had them coming up. Really no different than we got us some water from yesterday. But this is the first time I'm seeing the garden after the storm as I'm filming this. The squash did fine. So it looks like the storm didn't do really any damage. We got some tree limbs down. I see a few cabbage kind of fell over, but they'll perk back up when the sun comes out, which should be tomorrow. Yeah, they've kind of laid over. Let's see what else. Really and truly, I do believe that the garden held its own. Really did. Oh, look at my rabbit bed. That's what I call it. Oh, we got a little leaning tower here. That needs to be fixed. Looks like the rain did justice on it. If you look at the clip from yesterday and I look today, I actually see quite a bit of growth. Isn't it amazing? Something from a seed with life. Nourish it, protect it. Look what happens. No different than how we treat people. If you nourish it, protect it, it'll grow. That's what I think YouTube has done for us. We've met some awesome people. Friendships for life. Doesn't get any better than that. I believe the broccoli grew 2 inches since yesterday. Crazy. Just crazy. Cauliflower did just fine. Took a little bit of a beating. Got a pretty little flower here. Let's see. Get this out. There we go. Of course, now I'll have to come in here and, like I said yesterday, I'll have to choose the strongest. Keep it and cut the rest. But everything held its own, y'all. Very, very pleased. Let's go see what our purple top turnips did. Those are the ones I was concerned about. Well, I don't guess I needed to be concerned. Look at this. Amazing. I just knew it's tender. Now I do see some, see, over here laid over. But I don't feel like nope, I didn't lose any because they're still, let's see. Oh no, they're just a little limp. There may be a few that we lost because it's directly underneath the tree. So I was kind of concerned with the wind, the amount of wind we had and the acorns, that it was going to kind of beat this one down. This was the one I was concerned about. But overall, we were blessed. Let's see. Oh, we got a little bit of damage here. I don't know what that's from. Don't have a clue, but look. The Japanese, oh, there we go. Let me get the camera right. The Japanese eggplant. I give it about a week. This is going in a stir fry, y'all. I can't wait. Well, no damage. You guys saw it as I was walking and looking myself. Actually, I think we had growth. I think the rainwater, just especially the broccoli. I looked at the clip from yesterday. Wow. I would say 1.5 inches, or either it's just they're just perky because it got some good watering, you know, natural rainwater. Can't get any better than that. Y'all see I'm in a jacket. We went from 88 degrees yesterday. We will be dropping down to 46 this evening. And that's why we had the severe weather. We actually had 3 storms with rotation within the storms. And we stepped out, I'm thinking about 9:30, and these trees were just, I mean, blowing. Huge oak trees, and I thought, uh-oh. It's just, you know, this is our life here in North Louisiana. You just don't know. But when you have storms at night, and you have rotation within those storms, and you can't walk outside and see the sky and kind of get a visual of what's going on, it can be a little scary. But it's life. It's life here at Gemini Homestead. But I think the garden fared well. I think it's flourishing. I hope it continues to. I know I'm pleased, but I'm also pleased about my carrots. I planted those before we went on our trip to Deep South Homestead, which we went this past week. Today is Monday. Yes, Monday. I had to think about what day it was, y'all. Sunday is the day that we actually spent moving everything into the greenhouse, preparing for the worst. Always prepare for the worst. But praying that it did not do any damage. And our prayers were answered. Not just for us, but everyone in the community. I think we were spared. Majority of the time we are. Sometimes we're not. But yeah, my carrots went up first. Going to Deep South and being taught about planting carrots, some things that I honestly never knew. I could see every error that I was making every year. But I had been planning this trip since, I want to say June or July. I had been planning to go to Deep South Homestead when it came time to plant carrots, because I felt like I needed to see it with my own eyes. I needed to understand it, and I didn't really know of anybody, in my opinion, that could instruct me and teach me any better than Danny King. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to really get a lesson of something that I have struggled with for many, many years. And I overworked it. I realize that now. I overworked it. I overthought it. And sometimes you can do that, not just in gardening. That if you back up and just take a breath, and that's what I told myself, it's really simple. But it's certain techniques, and it's those little techniques and tricks that makes all the difference in the world. So, I will forever grow carrots, and I will always probably call them my Deep South Homestead carrots, even though they're not even in Deep South Homestead. It's just that the tools that I received and the knowledge, it's because of that that I will be able to continuously grow them better and better. So, Danny, if you're watching, and Wanda, thank you. It's been long waited. I have waited a long time. But I did it, guys. I learned it. I got it. Now, my bed's not planted like that, but they're growing. So, hey, we shall see. We shall see. But here's the garden update. I think with the future temps that I'm looking at, I'll be able to do a weekly update. If we have creature problems, little bug problems, I'm actually going to share with you guys what I choose to use. I don't think it'll be every 2 weeks. I thought maybe that's when the garden updates would happen. But seeing as I'm looking around, we'll be able to do this every Monday. Not too bad for a fall garden. So we shall see what the future holds. But until next time, God bless.